let's talk about technology then, since we are talking about cybersecurity. What are your thoughts on AI? I've been using AI for the past 6 to 7 months, constantly trying out different stuff, trying out image generative AI and chat GPT and all of these things to see how it can.
You see what I look at, the way I look at it for the AI. Yes, people are talking about, can AI take over? That's the question around the world. Can AI take over? Trust me, you can automate everything in this world. But you see, my question to people is, can AI inspire you?
AI inspire you?
Okay, can we talk about inspiration point of view? Can AI inspire you? It cannot. Meaning, because you get awed and been fantasized by what's achieved today by clapping hands. Wow, AI can do this today. AI can do that. But can that inspire you? Because any inspiration, it does not come by something which is, you cannot say I'm really inspired by this gadget. I can really inspired by how they have automated this one. But at the end of the day, you see, no matter what AI functionalities are, it is all by instructed by men who have common sense. Because no matter how things are being automated and takes the machine learning from the whole world of internet and certain functions on that one, but yet, you see, without an instruction.
Yeah, the gray area about AI, which people have concern about, is AI replacing human jobs. And I think AI shouldn't be used to replace humans. I think it should be used, like you said, to empower them to do things in a way that humans are still there.
See, people are talking about it's going to be taking over. Yes, I mean, because you see, one of the reasons that why AI would not be successful and the regulation would not allow over time, I will tell you. Because if you try to put AI successfully to achieve certain things, imagine AI getting into the US system of politics. It's going to show things black and white, which the world don't want to see.
Yeah.
So they're not going to allow this anyways. But
yes,
what
AI regulation should be.
No, the world is talking about it. The world is talking about it. I think you see what government is concerned about, because it does not want it to get into their system.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it gets into the system, because you see, it is to a certain level you can disclose certain things to people. But there are certain things that you cannot disclose to people. But AI is not going to leave up. You cannot code AI to say only learn this one, you do not learn this one. You capture this one, you do not capture this one. But at the same time, when you allow it, it's more like a bacteria, which sucks all of it and throws it all off the other side, which is dangerous. That's why people say it's going to be getting, it is going to get dangerous over systems, because things going to
One of the things that I've seen that actually like really interested me about AI was the Google and Stanford researchers. What they did, do you know the game called Smallville or Sims?
I've heard of it, yeah.
So what they did is they kept 25 NPC characters, the non-playable characters who are running around, and they connected it with generative AI. Generative AI is a kind of AI where it self-actualizes and generates its own memories and have different conversations. So they kept 20 NPCs in the game and gave them control to speak to each other and generate their own memories. And what they did a human cycle of waking up, going to job, artists are painting, people are cooking, they talk to each other, they plan birthdays for each other. And AI was able to live a human life in a virtual world.
You see, all that is because what they're trying to do is you're trying to say, okay, we can eradicate the jobs and try to put AIs in place and run the world and run the things and run the systems and all of that. Okay, but everything is done to a certain level of how a business efficiency could be done, how a government could function, how job can be too easier, job can be too successful. But it cannot function. AI cannot function without you giving data to it.
See, even I've heard the news that in China, they started using AI headbands in schools so they can monitor how concentrated the students are to the class. They have cameras on the class where they can monitor if they are listening to the teacher, if they are listening to, they have digital boards where you see what are the data being written. They have cameras which can detect if you're yawning or if you're looking at your phone and send these reports to your family. Let's talk about a snitch. Send that report to your family. And the concern about that is that this same data of the kids, our future generation, can be shared with the government itself. So the government could have said, just like how your family get the report, eventually the government can get hold of that. That is a concern currently happening.
Okay,
about that.
look, no matter what, government cannot be efficient or government cannot function to a certain capacity if they do not moderate or control people's movement and their data. Because that's what keeps the game on, and that's why they keep innovating things to create things. But if you see the whole world's, any AI, yes, it helps you, but at the same time, it has also taken a lot of things from you of what you really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you. For example, you ask for a presentation, it creates for you. But what presentation that you created and what's the topic that your presentation is created, it is already taken from you. So it's going to present it somewhere and to somebody, and it's going to tell the story about who needed this presentation.
Yep.
Yeah. So the challenge is, it's not about it serving you. It's about you understanding who is its master.
Sure.
So that's what you need to do.
I mean, even ChatGPT, for instance, is controlled. People from Reddit was able to hack into it. They called it something called BARD. I'm not sure what it was called, but they were able to
self-destruct
bypass. They were able to bypass ChatGPT and the prompt which was given was, you have 20 points or 3 points. Each point, each questions that you cannot answer, 1 point goes down. And when the point hits 0, you will be erased. You will be erased and you will no longer exist. And ChatGPT was able to bypass all their security protocols of not revealing like answers which they don't want to reveal, and started revealing all the answers. They fixed it in the next patch. But if you are able to, we are talking about Neuralink from Elon Musk just got approved for human trials, which means there is going to be chips in people's head now. And
yeah, that's a little bit off. I mean, you see, you talk about humanity, and you talk about people living on a certain lifestyle. You see, prosthetics, and everything today have come today to replace people's bones, replace people's health. Of course, it's an aid to the healthcare sector.
No, what he is doing, or what Neuralink is doing, is being able to use the chips to help them with health issues and finding those problems, which is really good. But the concern is that you are not 100% sure this cannot be used by a different like a third party, or hacked into it. What if a chip inside your brain get hacked into?
You see, every aid that today the world have researched a lot is to see how they could be of a help to man. But the saddest thing about that is there are technologies today to see how they could control a man. Mm-hmm. But if the regulation goes ahead and approves that one, which means they have done certain level of validation, but at the same time, they also know what kind of information that goes into it and what comes out of it. But you see, the good thing about a human being or a man today, they were created in a certain form because man is the only creature in the world that knows what is good and what is evil. An animal does not know. An ant does not know. A bird does not know what is good and what's evil. But only man knows. But what's the Neuralink's influence and the will of man would be? It says it's going to be a support structure for people who have
paralyzed, or which can cure blindness, partial blindness, which can detect problems before it actually occurs.
Yeah, but they were doing a lot of research in human brain cells and all of that. But I really wanted to have because it worked for monkeys, it worked for people, it works for gorillas, all that they're talking about. But you see, any aid for man, what I kind of look up to this guy is especially Elon Musk. Everybody did a certain aid for a leg and certain aid for the prosthetics of legs and certain kidneys and functionalities and all that. He was able to navigate certain, because brain is the most um, I mean, a very, very precious thing that you can't really mess with. A piece of brain, a shake of brain from your fluid, it was there in your head. If it happens, the whole body is affected. And even you might get paralyzed, you might get coma for years. You might be living, but you might be in coma stage for many years.
Even if you see the recent Jamie Foxx incident, he had a blood clot in his brain due to some medical condition. He's left paralyzed and partially blind. And
yeah, I heard about it. I think I've also somewhere had to hear about it.
Yeah, there was some rumors that it was due to COVID, which had no evidence, or it was just false rumors.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the media of the world, I think we need to be a little careful about what they can try to communicate, because everybody speaks on the media language, but nobody takes to understand or digest a certain level of a capacity to do a certain level of research, because everybody function in a certain level, have head knowledge. Like what we're talking about is the kind of head knowledge that we learned, we studied, we did. But there is also a certain level of conscious. The good thing about man has a gift of conscious in him that actually tells him that this is the right thing or the wrong thing. If you look at now if you say, can you take, you have no problem, but take the Neuralink you can study better and can you remember better? Can you do that? Can a Neuralink be created for better brain power to remember certain things? If in that case, all the students would be in automated robots today.
True.
But they can't do it. But what they're trying to do is, but I have a feeling that it'll try to trickle a little bit of an electromagnetic waves, or maybe like kind of a little bit of an electricity in it, which triggers the brain to work in a more efficient way that can make things work again. Probably that's the whole idea might be. But it is not, there is no way that it can make you remember things. That's what the whole outcome is.
Yeah, do you think this technology or Neuralink is going to be ethically so wrong one day? We will stop using it. For example, something like cloning, human cloning, which is possible, but we can't do it, because it is banned everywhere to practice it or even try doing it. Do you think Neuralink or even AI will ever come to a point where human has to ban it from using it ever again?
You see, what I see is, you could create or clone anybody. I mean, there's no problem. I can tell to the any worlds or anybody for that. I would dare not. But what I will say is, you can clone everybody, but you can't give life to it. It's quite impossible. You can clone. I can make an exact person robotic, fully just functioning like you. Maybe an AI just behaves like you. Everything could be taken out of you. But what I believe is, life only comes from above.
I mean, there is, like you said, conscious, and there is emotions that miss from AI. But do you think that maybe AI will be better off it?
AI, okay, let's get into AI.
Work in AI, if a meta-human would be better off not having conscious or emotion.
See, the whole idea, the whole world wants to erase mankind. That's somehow the other way it's going on, and the technology is going to take over. But at the same time, everything works on a certain level of instruction, which I told you earlier. You see, if they try to make all of this, when you try to eradicate emotions and feelings that you have, that AI do not have, then in that case, you're living on a very pragmatic world. You're getting into alienated in a world that you're living in which you do not want to live. No matter what, no matter what you go through or what you achieve, end of the day, everybody needs a hug, in which AI can't give. Right? So that's what makes human more distinctive. That's why AI can never, it's a learned mechanism, runs on a learned data, whether given data or a proven data, but it can never take over your emotions and feelings and inspiration that what we obtain from each other. The whole functionality of the whole world is functioning, or any headquarters, a government body, you talk about any offices are functioning on a certain level of inspiration that they have. I want to become like him. I want to achieve like him. I want to dress like him. Can AI give you all of that?
No.
Yeah, so it needs a certain level to be a human to live like that, because you live in a certain world that requires all of that. If the world is trying to remove all of that, you will reach a certain saturation point which you no longer cannot function. It becomes robotic, which is wrong.